Live from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
Hello there, good evening and welcome to the 9 PM news on the prestigious channel of Sri Lanka. I'm Niketh Karunaratne.
I'm Kenza Farooq. Let's take a look at your headlines for tonight.
Signs of rainy weather to gradually ease from tomorrow. Compensations to those who lost jobs at the Tulhiriya and Pugoda textile factories after 47 years. Relaxing in the deflationary condition in the Colombo Consumer Price Index. A special communique on the medicine immunoglobulin. Attempts to overcome the plastic menace which destroys the environment. President Trump doubles the aluminium and steel tariff.
In your top local news for tonight, the Department of Meteorology forecast a gradual decline in the rainy weather condition in the southwestern part of the island from tomorrow.
The extremely adverse rainy and windy weather condition has affected 7,236 individuals in 1,962 families in 14 districts. The Disaster Management Centre says 9 persons were injured in disaster-related incidents. Many houses and high-tension cable systems in Hatton have been severely damaged due to the torrential rains accompanied with strong winds being lashed on the Central Highlands. In the areas of the Ruwanpura estate in Kodagama and Sitravata in Hatton and the Dikkoya police divisions, roofs in some houses have been flown away completely. The Hatton headquarters police station says houses were also damaged. Vehicle transport leading to the Vimala Surendra hydropower electricity station in the Norton a massive tree last night. The high power cable system from Hatton to Talavakalay had also collapsed last night, causing total power disruptions in Kottagala and Talavakalay. Strong winds that blew across the Madaragama Divisional Secretariat division last evening had also damaged more than 15 houses. Our correspondent says serious losses were reported due to falling of trees in the Grama Seva divisions. A bow tree was reported to have fallen on a three-wheeler in Brandigampula in the Hangmella Labugama main road. A nearby power cable system was also reported to have been damaged. A strong wind that flew across the valley mudda last night damaged around 60 houses. Falling of trees have stalled electricity supply as well as disrupted vehicle travel. 2 large trees in front of the Nagoda Primary School in Galle were uprooted in a strong gale across the Vanduramba Mapalagama in Nagoda last evening, destroying the main wall of the school and one of its buildings. "671 residents in 189 families in 16 divisional secretariat divisions in the Puttalam district were also affected by rain and strong winds. The Puttalam district secretariat says 187 houses were heavily damaged. A strong windy situation was also reported in the Taladapitiya in Kurunagala along with heavy showers last night. Many houses were affected in the village and also damages occurred to the electricity cables. Localized showers in the seas off the coast from Puttalam to Hambantota via Colombo and Galle is possible. The wind speed in the seas beyond the shores from Galle to Pothuwil via Hambantota could reach 40 to 50 km per hour. And the department also warns that it could also increase. A nearby building was damaged due to falling of a large tree in the vehicle park in the parliamentary premises, also causing damages to a digital board. Deputy Minister Iranga Gunasekara was engaged in an observation tour in the Kolonnava area to look into the well-being of residents affected by the inclement weather condition. Relief services are being conducted through the assistance of the Disaster Management Centre, Kolonnava Divisional Secretariat Division and the Army. The Colombo Municipal Council has commenced restoring locations where trees were fallen due to heavy rain in the Colombo city. The Rural District Disaster Management Unit informs that one sluice gate of the Upper Kotmale Reservoir was opened this evening. Further rains would pave the way for the automatic opening of all the other sluice gates. The Disaster Management Unit therefore requests the general public living in the low-lying areas of the reservoir to remain vigilant. Heavy intermittent rainfall accompanied with thunder is expected today as well in the western, Sabaragamuwa, central and northwestern provinces as well as in the Gaul and Mathura districts. In certain locations, showers exceeding 75 millimeters is expected. According to the Met Department, strong winds of 50 kilometers per hour may also occur from time to time in the western slopes of the Central Highlands in the northern and other provinces. The Department of Meteorology further informs the general public that the strong windy condition does not mean a stormy weather condition and requests not to create unnecessary fears. Meanwhile, the National Building Research Organization has released earth slip warning messages to 5 districts. They include Babdigama in Gaul district, Gangihela Korale in the Kandy district, Aranayaka in the K-Gaul district, Ambagamua in the Nuwara district and Kiriyalla in the Ratnapura district. In the meantime, the Tulhiriya and Pugoda textile factories were at one time the prominent state manufacturing ventures. Yet they were closed down in 1978 and the employees were chased from their jobs. It was only after 47 years that justice was granted to these destitute workers when they were provided with compensation yesterday. The Tulhiriya textile factory was commenced in the year 1968 under the aid of the then East German government. It was at that time a most popular state industry. The Pugoda textile factory was declared open under Chinese aid. However, the workers were engaged in a strike in protest over the privatization of the institute in March of 1978. The then management had dismissed these workers, considering them to have vacated their posts. The present government has decided to bring an amicable solution to the problem. Accordingly, a final arbitration was carried out in the form of a compensation. The approval of the Cabinet of Ministers was granted to a proposal submitted in this connection by the Ministry of Labour. As a result, 1,717 employees who had lost their jobs in 1978 received benefits amounting to 87 million rupees allocated by the government. Some of the employees by now had passed away and the allocations were handed over to the closest relatives. Each of the recipients received a sum of 50,025 rupees. 30 recipients were symbolically handed over and the other former employees are able to receive their compensation by the district labour offices. Minister Anil Jayantha said that a responsibility of the government, a country and a society is to align people in a systematic manner into the economy and at the same time granting them benefits of economy. The aim of the government is to provide happy retired lives to the workers who had shed their sweat to enhance the economy. Deputy Minister Mahinda Jai Singha said that a small compensation is unable to value the strong contributions made by the workers to build the country. However, as a government, they are doing all these commitments amidst numerous challenges. Therefore, the government is providing relief to them to their maximum effort.
President Anil Kumar Dissanayake emphasizes his unwavering commitment to fulfilling his fundamental responsibility of elevating Sri Lanka's international standing not as a criminal state protected by political patronage but as a well-governed and law-abiding nation. The President made these remarks last evening while attending a religious ceremony to declare open the relic chamber and unveiling of the Med Bodhisattva statue at the Sri Samadhi Mahavihara in Galkiriyagama. The President participated in the event at the invitation of the Venerable Kagama Sirinanda Thera. The relic chamber and were declared open on this occasion. The Mahasangha, headed by Chief Sangha Nayak of Nuwara Kalava and Atmastana Dipati, Anuradhapura Venerable Pallegama Hema Ratna Thera have also graced the event. President Anil Kumar Dissanayake pointed out that although Sri Lanka is a resource-rich and naturally blessed country, previous rulers failed to lead it toward prosperity due to a lack of coherent planning. The President stressed that the current government is steadily and systematically rebuilding the national economy with a strong focus on stability and long-term development. At the subsequent ceremony addressing the gathering, President Dissanayake stated that he has never acted out of personal ambition or for positional gain. Instead, as a leader who genuinely understands the hardships faced by the people, he remains fully committed to building a prosperous nation on behalf of all citizens. The President emphasized that the government is currently working to establish the rule of law and create a common country for everyone. He assured that the responsibility of protecting future generations from drug menace is being diligently fulfilled. Furthermore, steps are being taken to strengthen the institutional framework required to combat the trafficking of illegal drugs and related crimes effectively. President Dissanayake highlighted that the Mahasangha, including the religious leaders in the country, holds a significant responsibility in nurturing a healthy and compassionate citizenry, essential for building the prosperous nation everyone aspires to. He acknowledged and appreciated the valuable social and religious contributions of Venerable Kagama Sirinanda Thera in this regard.
දේශපාලනය කළු ව්‍යාපාර එකට ගැට ගහලා තිබෙන්නේ. නීති විරෝධී සන්නද්ධ කණ්ඩායම් ඉන්නෝ, මද්ද්‍රව්‍ය ජාවාරම් කරුවන් ඉන්නෝ, රැකවරණය දෙන දේශපාලකයන් හිටියා. ඉහළම මේ මැඩ පැවැත්වීම සඳහා කටයුතු කරන රාජ්‍ය නිලධාරීන්ගේ සබඳතාවයක් තිබෙනවා. කළු ව්‍යාපාරිකයන්ගේ සබඳතාවයක් තිබෙනවා.
Now, the Central Bank of Sri Lanka, in a special media release, says that a continuous easing in the deflationary conditions has been reported this month. The relaxing of the deflationary conditions was witnessed throughout this month in line with the central bank's near-term projections. Accordingly, the year-on-year change in the Colombo Consumer Price Index reflected a slower pace of headline deflation at 0.7% in May compared to the deflation of 2% recorded in April this year. Non-food deflation decelerated further to 3.3% this month from 3.6% last month. Meanwhile, food inflation accelerated to 5.2% in May 2025 from 1.3% recorded in April this year. On a month-on-month basis, the CCPI increased by 0.82% this month, for which the food category contributed 0.88 percentage points and the non-food category contributed by minus 0.06 percentage points. Moreover, core inflation, which reflects the underlying inflation trends in the economy, accelerated to 1.2% this month from 0.8% recorded in April this year. Inflation is expected to turn positive in the early third quarter of this year and gradually align with the inflation target of 5% with the support of appropriate policies. The central bank media release adds that despite the broadening of the trade deficit, the foreign component of the local economy has remained vibrant throughout last month as a result of conducive remittances from tourist revenue and migrant employees. It also says in comparison to April of 2024, the annual growth rate in tourist arrivals by the end of last month was at 17.3%. Additionally, an 18.8% increase has also been seen in the annual remittances of foreign employees.
A special program has been devised to directly release the supports of foreign states in the systematic procurement of medicine for Sri Lanka. A committee comprised of senior officials of several ministries and institutes has been appointed in this regard. Secretary to the Ministry of Health and Mass Media, Consultant Dr. Anil Jasinghe heads the committee. At a recent meeting, the committee has discussed in depth on how the drug purchasing program should be commenced and implemented. The committee hopes to purchase drugs in shortfall from foreign countries until minimizing of the impediments in the existing drug supply network.
Commenting on a news item scheduled to be published in a newspaper tomorrow, the National Medicines Regulatory Authority in a special communique points out that there are no preparations to provide immunoglobulin which does not conform to the standards to the patients as mentioned in the media report. The NMRA reiterates that it has been confirmed locally as well as via the Central Drug Standardizing Institute in India that the relevant medicine is of the appropriate standards. The National Medicines Regulatory Authority, in a clarification on the headline of a leading newspaper scheduled to be published tomorrow, says immunoglobulin manufactured by Ecobiologics Private Limited of India and had received regulatory approval in 2023. The NMRA is engaged in research based upon complaints received from hospitals time to time. The medicine was initially flagged following a complaint after use, and concerns were raised during testing. As a precaution, the Medical Supplies Division was instructed to halt its distribution. Subsequent testing, including analysis by India's Central Drug Standard Control Organization, confirmed that the product met required standards. Based on these findings, a special technical committee of specialist doctors approved its continued use. Therefore, the authority points out that there is no need to have any doubts about the medicine's quality, as it had undergone all necessary evaluations and received the appropriate approvals.
The theme of the upcoming International Environment Day on the 5th of June is Let's Minimize Pollution Through Plastics. In parallel to this event, a week-long series of programs to enlighten the general public regarding minimizing harmful plastic usage will be conducted. At present, plastic consumption worldwide is at an extremely high level. It has been established fact that it takes a period from 100 to 500 years to decay disposed plastic material. Inappropriate disposal of plastics as well as burning of plastics adds to environmental pollution via accumulation of poisonous chemicals to the environment. In addition, collection of plastics which do not decay blocks drainage systems, causing floods, especially in urban areas. Releasing to degradable plastics and polythene convenes deaths to aquatic species. It has also been reported that in Sri Lanka, in every day 930 metric tons of plastics refuse is being discharged into the environment. Out of this quantity, around 300 metric tons are being taken back and only 34 metric tons of plastics are being recycled. The recycling quantity amounts to a mere 4% of the total garbage of plastics. On an annual basis, Sri Lanka only recycles 11% of the yearly plastic residue of 250,000 metric tons. However, numerous measures have been taken to minimize the usage of polythene and plastics in the country. According to environmentalists, Sri Lankans should strive to contribute towards the plastic recycling even if they are unable to minimize the usage of this hazard material. Recycling means transformation of plastic refuse for the manufacturing of new products without causing harm to the environment. A recycling institute of this nature has been established in Daguna in Katunayaka. This institute helps the country to amass significant amount of foreign exchange by molding the plastics to create numerous finished products.
And stay tuned for more local stories coming up after this break.
Prima Kuttumi, Fantamai. බුද්ධිමත් ඇගේ තීරණය ප්‍රීමා ස්ටෙලා අපි හැමෝම කැමති.
Live from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
Welcome back, and continuing with more local stories, a three-member panel of the Colombo High Court judges have given a verdict regarding former Sports Minister Mahindananda Alugamage and former Trade Minister and Chairman of Sadhasa Nalin Fernando being guilty to the charges of causing a loss of 53 million rupees to the government through illegal purchasing of carom and checkerboards via the Sadhasa Institute. Now, the former chief accountant of the Ministry of Sports, Anton Pereira, expressing opinion to the media, said that distribution of carom and checkerboards among village-level political activists were carried out targeting an election. The former chief accountant of the Ministry of Sports, Anton Pereira, said that it is the responsibility of the Department of Sports Development and the Ministry of Sports to promote sports in the country. Therefore, the distribution of sports items is a common occurrence. He added that the Sports Ministry has been engaged in the distribution of sports items for such sports such as volleyball and netball in the past as well as the present. However, funds are being allocated for the purchasing of sports equipment by the ministry for the relevant departments. This is not an unusual incident, but the distribution of such items to political staff and officials targeting an election was not included in the budget proposals. A ministry or a department is able to pass funds only via the budget. Anton Pereira further said, therefore, monies were not allocated nor tenders called to distribute sports items.
The 75th anniversary celebration of the Indian Council for Cultural Relations, organized by the Swami Vivekananda Cultural Centre of the High Commission of India in Sri Lanka, was held on yesterday in Colombo under the patronage of the Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya. The Swami Vivekananda Cultural Centre, established in Colombo in 1998, has created a vibrant platform for cultural exchange, cooperation and friendship between the two nations. Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya further said that she wished to take the opportunity to express her gratitude for the scholarships provided to Sri Lankan students for undergraduate, postgraduate and doctoral studies in India. The event was attended by Indian High Commissioner to Sri Lanka, Santosh Jha, along with other distinguished guests, vice chancellors, deans, students studying Indian languages and performing arts.
Now, the Miss World quarter-finalists were announced this evening, and Sri Lanka's Anudhi Gunasekara was not among the 40 selected from Asia, Europe, Africa and the Americas.
Despite a strong run in multimedia and head-to-head events, she misses out on the final cut. Let's join with some highlights of the grand finale.
So thankful for this journey because I could meet all these amazing women up there. Their stories really make me feel honored, and their dreams now is part of my dreams.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's a huge honor for me to stand here. I'd firstly like to start off by congratulating all my fellow Miss World Africa contestants. I believe that every single woman is proficient enough to carry the Miss World Africa title, and I'm so incredibly honored to have been part of such an amazing batch.
My country has so much to teach Africa and the world, and I believe me being here tells every single girl in my country and out there in the world that dreams do come true, and never give up on what you have.
I will find points in common in our diversity because our diversity is our strength. I will create the space where every culture, tradition and language are valued and respected.
I believe I should be Miss Europe because I never chase the crown. I follow the joy of the journey. I truly believe that you need to enjoy every day in your life as if it were your last.
For me, a continental winner should have a belief in intercontinentedness. And throughout my stay here at Telangana, together with my sisters, I've known a more meaningful life by discovering wonderful pieces of who they are.
When you're taking care of a garden, everyone can water the plants. But in order to make a beautiful and long-lasting garden, you need someone who stays. And it applies the same with Miss Asia and Oceania. You don't only introduce people with the title of yourself, but on the other hand, you make sure that they feel that you are staying and standing up for them.
Now, a new methodology has been introduced for the plantation workers to earn a monthly salary of 150,000 rupees. The new method has been presented by the Kiruvanaganga Estate Veniyaya of the Talvakale Plantation Company of the Hales Institute. The novel revenue sharing system known as Revenue Share Model is to be implemented in parallel to a government concept. Accordingly, the plantation labour will be provided plots of fertile tea lands on a lease basis within a specific time framework. As a result, the workers will be fully entrusted with the task of maintaining the lands as well as plucking tea leaves. A kilo of tender leaves plucked by an employee will be purchased by the Kiruvanaganga estate of the Talvakale plantations at a price of 100 rupees per kilo. A special feature has been the company making facilities for the procurement of weed killers and fertilizer for the relevant plot of land according to the wishes of the plantation worker. This method is expected to double the daily output of tender leaves collected generally by a single worker. Another advantage is that the worker's plot of land lies adjacent to his residence, making it easy for him or her to engage in the daily work.
The government of the Russian Federation has expressed its appreciation over the new policy of the present government to carry the country forward economically and also to create a people-oriented health service without frauds and wastage. The Russian ambassador in Sri Lanka has made these observations in a discussion with Minister Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa last evening. The Sri Lankan Health Minister has also recalled on this occasion the cooperation extended by Russian government for the advancement of Sri Lankan health service and also the long-standing friendship between the two countries. The envoy further said that the health minister of Russia is willing to engage in a tour in Sri Lanka this year. Secretary to the Ministry of Health and Mass Media consultant Dr. Anil Jasinger also took part in the discussion.
President Anurakumara Dissanayake paid a visit to the 20th Build Sri Lanka Housing and Construction International Exhibition organised by the Chamber of Construction Industry of Sri Lanka. This morning, the Build Housing and Construction Exhibition, the premier exhibition of the construction industry in Sri Lanka, commenced yesterday at the Sirimao Bandaranayake Memorial Exhibition Centre of BMICH in Colombo. The exhibition features almost 280 product display stalls, and it will provide a platform to the construction industry stakeholders to foster relationships, discover business opportunities and gain insights into innovative designs and advanced technologies. President Anurakumara Dissanayake also toured the exhibition stalls and engaged in discussions with exhibitors and also engaged in cordial discussions with the attendees who came to. The President also awarded tokens of appreciation to the sponsoring institutions involved in the exhibition. The exhibition ends tomorrow. And stay tuned for foreign news coming up next.
Prima Kottumi, Fantamai.
Welcome back, and on foreign news, President Donald Trump has announced that the US will double its current tariff rate on steel and aluminium imports from 25% to 50% starting from next Wednesday.
The announcement is the latest turn in Trump's roller coaster approach to tariffs since re-entering office in January. Speaking at a rally in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania on Friday, Trump said the move helped boost the local steel industry and national supply while reducing reliance on China. Trump also said that $14 billion would be invested in the area's steel production through a partnership between US Steel and Japan's Nippon Steel, though he later told reporters he had yet to see or approve the final deal. The announcement comes amid a court battle over the legality of some of Trump's global tariffs, which an appeals court has allowed to continue after the Court of International Trade ordered the administration to halt the taxes. His tariffs on steel and aluminium were untouched by the lawsuit. The levies have strained relations between China and the US, the world's two biggest global economies, and launched the countries into a tit battle.
And now moving on to sports news for tonight. A media briefing on the new regulations in the Sports Act was held at the Department of Government Information yesterday. Minister Sunil Kumar Gamage has presided over the meeting, which was attended by Deputy Sports Minister Sugap Tilakaratne, Director General of Sports Shimal Fernando and Chairman of the National Sports Council Priyamta Ekanayaka. Minister Sunil Kumar Gamage said that there are 74 sports associations. However, there are many problems in these organizations. The problems in the sports federations prevents the developing of the sports sector. He said that as a government, they will never allow the sports personnel to go astray. A special gazette notification has been issued not targeting any specific group or support. This measure hopes the common good of the entire sports sector. And that's all the news we have for tonight. Do join us again at the same time tomorrow. Good night.